The Wednesday week is sponsored by Michael Constantine Wealth Management. We bet you can't find a financial advisor closer to Hillsborough Stadium.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday week. My name's Dan Fudge. Now, Easter has passed, and on Good Friday, everything was over. It was all done with. We were dead and buried. The buffer had gone. All the results didn't go away. It had all fallen to S&P. Now, as the bank holiday Monday came round, Jesus Christ, like Sheffield Wednesday, had arisen from his rock of sin, and all of a sudden we're back in the game, and it's all happening. Joining me tonight, I've got Stevie, Ash, and Simon. So it's a big lad affair to talk about our promotion chances. Are we still in for automatics, or are we all scared of Bolton coming up in the playoffs? Stevie, who's that with you?
Twin one. This is Molly.
Twin one. Molly, what makes you number one?
Because I was born 1 minute first.
God almighty.
And she comes to the game.
Louise. Yeah, you're the one that goes to the football.
Right.
Okay.
Stevie went there.
Just gonna make a note of that. She's the favourite one. Likes Liam Palmer. Okay, all right then. So
Watch the style, big split, fully chipping on we rich past the brick. Remember fling it.
Now, if you're going to have to get used to that tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if you do hear it, that means someone's mentioned the explicit LP2 word. So every time it gets said, Ash is going to drop in the Liam Palmer dancing in a swimming pool video for those listening via an audio medium, which are probably going to get quite frustrated at hearing that interlude. Now, Ash, how are you, pal? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, Dan. Thank you. Yeah, the better for 3 points on Monday, of course.
Did you? You've been on holiday, haven't you? In the UK. I was in Cornwall last week. What did you get up to last week?
I was in sunny Bridlington, mate, last week. Yeah, because I'm ever the traveller. You know, I get far. You know, so yeah, Bridlington, lovely couple of days away with the family. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm happy for you. So, Simon, how was your bank holiday weekend?
It was good. It was good. Interspersed with a trip to Oxford to see all my favourite friends there, Stevie and Ash. And then a bit of an in-lawsness, and then back home to watch the game on Monday. Yeah, it was all right.
Lovely stuff. Now, I'm glad none of you have bored me to death with any stories about getting in the garden, get the sand in, change the wardrobe round, stuff like that. Now, Ash, I'm going to come to you for this one. Now, I don't know if the people out in listener land are going to come to terms with this, but I was on holiday in Cornwall, and I didn't get one outfit right. I've just realised that April's crap. You're either dressed for sun and it pisses it down, and you go, well, I'm going to wear my long trousers today and a hoodie, and then it's blazing sunshine all day. I'm hot or I'm cold and I'm mardy and I'm in Cornwall in a caravan. I mean, what was yours like?
Very much the same, mate. Yeah, first couple of days, really nice weather, and then it pissed it down. So, but like I say, you don't get wet sat in the pub, do you? So.
Can I just say, at the Oxford game, I was in shorts. And Steve was dressed as he was about to go to the Antarctic. It was like, and he was sweating his testicles off.
Yeah. So the story behind that is that I said to the missus.
Sorry, hang on, Steve. Steve, I've just got to interject there. As we mentioned, testicles. Don't forget to enter the code TWW20 into manscaped.com to get yourself a 20% discount from the Manscaped 4.0 bundle. Carry on, Stevie.
So I've set off. I'm driving down. Gets in the car. The last thing I'm doing, I'm rushing around for whatever reason at the last sort of the deaths before I got set off. I says to the missus, "Is my coat in the car?" She went, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, no problem." So jeans, top, trainers, hat. Off I go. Drives down, pulls up, gets to the boot, opens the boot when we get there, and I've pulled out my winter coat, the full-on fleece number with the fur hood.
For those listening of a certain age, Stevie is referencing his roadman coat that he did the halftime show in, right?
Yes,
that's 100% it. But I've ended up meeting Simon from the Speakeasy Club, and we've ended up having a beer.
Did he walk up and go, "All right, then, man, what going in?"
in his Welsh accent.
Yeah, go on then, Dan, do that one.
Hang on, give me a minute on that one.
We've parked up, and it's going to be a walk. It's about a mile, but it turned out it was like a 25-minute walk through the back wax to get to the ground. You end up walking through an estate to get onto the side where there's no stand.
Hang on, Stevie. I've got subsequent questions. You had to walk through an estate. When you say estate, are we talking like a new build estate that people call the estate, or one where your jacket would fit right in?
A little from column A and a little from column B. Oh, I have to tell you what happened after the game. We'll talk about the game, but we're coming out. He was on another stand, so he's managed to get a ticket, but he was on the home stand. So we're coming out. I've said goodbye to Simon. You're at the end of the game, absolutely fucking fuming because we'd drawn and everybody was feeling it, and it was really, really negative. And all the Oxford fans have come out and gone, "Oh yeah, we've done all right today." Blah blah blah. And we're walking through it. I've seen Ash. Ash has given me some abuse as I'm in his car as I'm walking that way. I'm on my own. I've ended up walking down a Ginnel. And as I'm walking past this park, two kids come the other way, chains, Air Force Ones, puffer jackets. Seeing me, they've gone,
I'm gonna burst.
They've gone 411, and I've gone, yeah. They've looked at each other. They've gone, yes, like that. And as I've walked past, it's like a single file Ginnel. They've come up to me and gone, fist bumps like this, and gone, give me some then. So I've had to walk past two teenagers that were Oxford fans and fist bump them. Steam coming out, mate. I was absolutely fuming.
Is that because you were terrified of getting wet up? I think that's what they call it down there.
You never know. You never know. Yeah.
Oxford's posh, Oxford's posh. They probably listen to garage music. You know what I mean? Right. So what did you do, Ash? Just driving a straight out like?
Yes, mate. I was parked in the car park around the back of the Hollywood Bowl or whatever it was called, and got in my car, straight in, straight out, and sat in a bit of traffic. Saw this bloody 6.5-foot bloke in a big parka walking past, fuming, sweating his ass off. So one window down, he goes, "You're lucky. We've got 3 hours to drive because I'm not going to be on the group chat." And he went, "Yeah, me too."
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
Yeah,
the best bit was when I got there, I was sweating that much. Si's gone, "Ooh, you look quite warm," and I'm like, I daren't take my coat off because my top was like a yellow, pastel yellow, like a lemon. So if I took it off, you could see every single sweat patch. So I could really discreetly unzip the fucking thing.
So there
you are doing this. Like,
Yeah. So Stevie went down to Oxford, managed to get himself a gang up full of Oxford Mandem Yardies, whilst sporting a map of Africa under each armpit. You know what I mean? In a different tone. I'll tell you what, I am dancing on a thin tightrope here, aren't I? Let's go to an old white man. Simon, how was your day?
Yeah, it was. Well, I paid. I paid to park on somebody's drive.
Brilliant.
And I was on one of those estates as well, but it was a little bit more from column B than column A.
Good job.
And and I wasn't in my car. I was in Joanne's, which is 2 weeks old. Yeah, and I parked it on the wrong drive. So I pulled up.
Wait, sorry.
I booked to park it on someone's drive. Right?
And you parked at the wrong house?
Yeah. And I got out of the car, and there was this guy stood opposite, and I said, "Can you walk through the estate, or do I have to walk round to the ground?" So he says, "Oh yeah, you walk round." So Ethan, by this time, had already walked off, typical teenager. So I caught up with him, and I'm thinking, sat-nav said you've reached the destination, parked on the drive, but this house was really, really rough. And I'm thinking, I'll just check. And my car was booked. Well, Joanne's car was booked on number 37, and I parked on number 35s. So I turned around and walked back, and I went to this guy who just directed me out the housing estate. Fucking hell, I parked on the wrong drive. And he went, "I thought that was odd because he's a right knobhead who lives there. And the woman who lives next door, she's the one who normally rents the drive out. Now, why didn't he tell me?"
That's like the opening 10 minutes of Labyrinth where they go, "You don't want to go down that way. The castle's that way."
So I ended up moving Joanne's car. Ethan's saying to me, what would have happened, Dad? And I'm like, we probably have driven all the way back to Joe's mum and Dad's with no windows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Ash, is it too late to change the name of the episode to Stevie's Gang Simon Senior Moment? Or
That's not well, I think it's nailed on now, that, isn't it? So I think,
Simon Senior Moment, Wet Man's Up, Old Tight the Mandems, crew.
we did go to watch some football, so shall we?
Yeah,
I was
it's
just
been 10
putting off
minutes.
the inevitable of the shit show that followed.
Do you know what, Ash? Go first, mate. You go first. Go for it.
Shit game, Bannon miss-hit cross, and shit penalty decision. There we go. Done.
Stay tuned for more in-depth football analysis on the Wednesday week. Simon, what was your takeaway?
Oh my life.
We've had 10 minutes of parking fiasco and 10 seconds of actual. Sorry, everyone listening to this, because obviously we are a professional outfit.
We are a professional outfit.
So no, yeah, go on. I'll go first. Seriously, it was disappointing. I know Stevie said it early in his rundown of his escapades, but yeah, come out of it. Obviously, going down full of hope, full of was it? I think it was optimism. Must win was bandied about a lot of times, weren't it, in the group chat and online and all this, obviously with the results that we've had previously. So yeah, not anything that I don't think Darren could do with the team selection. Obviously, I think the Smith
much picked itself, didn't it?
Yeah, the Smith omission was I think it was a surprise, because I personally didn't hear any sort of grumblings of any sort of injuries in training or anything like that. So it must have been a minor thing, because obviously he came back for the next game. Good to see Wilkes on there. Obviously he had to play, didn't he? Like I said, we're getting threadbare, isn't it? So it was frustrating as hell. It was 35 minutes, something like that, of not a great deal for me. We had a couple of chances. I think Gregory, for me, for the first half, was more outstanding. Not outstanding, that's the wrong word. Probably the one that worked a lot harder than a lot. Is running around, he's chasing, even for his age and his position he plays. It's not really what he should be doing. But then the goal. So, I mean, yeah. Honestly, honestly, I didn't see it. I went for a piss and a pie. So, I really didn't see it. So, I mean.
Sorry, that's going to be the name of the episode. We've got one each now, lads.
Yeah.
I thought you talked there about the lineup and it basically picking itself. I think it's the last sort of 3 or 4 games, obviously on that run, things have got so desperate and we've had to chop and change. You can talk about the goalkeeper, you can talk about the midfield, you can talk about the front two. It seemed on Friday, wasn't it? It seemed on Friday that he's gone to a 4 at the back. So he's ended up he's played that 4 with Palmer right, James left, and Flint and Firmino in the middle.
It did change through the game, didn't it?
It did.
Which I've not noticed a lot of. I've got to be honest with that. I've not noticed a lot of changing formations from a back 4, back 5, or 3-5, whatever, however you want to say it. And it did seem to be a bit. It changed when it needed, which was
more fluid. It was more of it seemed to be a reaction to what were going on pitch, weren't it? I think that's fair to say. I think it felt when I saw the lineup, I was like straight away. I think it might have been Simon that I turned to and said that he's going to play a 4 here. We've lined up as a 4. I think he's done that because he was fed up of seeing the shit that was going on in front of it, and I think that meant that he's going to have to put squarer pegs in square-ish holes in terms of playing what appeared to be Adeniran to the right and Johnson to the left with those two in the middle. But that did sort of change a little bit as well, didn't it? But it didn't seem to be the kick up the arse that the team needed. I thought Gregory ran, as you've said, he ran his nuts off, whether that's his role or not. He just seemed to want it more than the others. I've got no qualms in terms of the way that he played. It just became desperate as the moment that we scored. You could see there was almost a relief, wasn't there? and it felt like hopefully you although the crowd were lively, it was literally one of those where everybody in the stand is sort of crossing the fingers and going, right, let's bloody well hold on to it now. And as we did, and the game went on, it did become a little bit more long ball because they got back into the game, and you could feel that sort of edginess as it went on, couldn't you? And it did begin to feel uncomfortable, and they did have a couple of chances before the penalty that they got. I thought their goalkeeper in the first half was absolutely terrible, and then was replaced by the second coming of an absolute world-class Buffon type number in the second half. He's pulled the tape off.
It was Good Friday, Steve. It was Good Friday.
Resurrected. He's come back at the first 2-3 minutes of the second half. He's pulled off a couple of decent saves, and me and Simon looked at each other and went, "This isn't the same kid that played in the first half," because he was absolutely terrible first half.
Yeah. But they're an header by. Oh, sorry, Dan. They're an header by Gregory, weren't they? That he pulled off his fingertips.
Was it a case of the keeper played well, or we just weren't great shots? Wilkes had a couple, but he's not exactly prolific, is he?
No, but he was quite. His movement and his pace upset them quite a bit. It was a game 2 halves, I thought. Very much like last season. Last season we battered them, didn't we, in the first half, and then we ended up losing, I think, 3-2. All their goals, I think, most of them came in the second half, and it was very much they changed. They started coming down our left hand side, and really sort of attacking. Reece James and Johnson down that left hand side, and Steve's right. The keeper in the first half couldn't hold on to anything, and then literally we had 4 chances in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and after that, I think Steve said to me he'll not concede now, because he was just like he was like Buffon. He'd gone from just useless to picking the balls out and just commanding his area brilliantly. And then he took Wilkes off and brought Dom on. And I know Steve and I looked at each other sort of, what? He's doing what? But then that's when he changed the formation and went back to his wing-backs formation, which did at the time sort of, it didn't work. It didn't work at all. And it was a matter of time. Was it a matter of time before they scored? They had a penalty shout probably 3 or 4 minutes before they actually got the penalty.
There was a stone waller as well, I thought.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen. There's a lot of handling that happens in the box nowadays in football. A lot of it happened on Monday, didn't it? And nothing's given, and you see it go either way. If I think the problem was that it was the stand it was in front of. They were quite vocal, weren't they? And every time there was a chance or a half chance at a penalty, anything like that, they were just on their feet, and I think that influenced the second of the decision for the penalty.
Okay, it were a penalty though, wasn't it?
No.
Come on, listen.
How
many times have you watched it?
Several. You put it in the chat straight away, and I've never. I don't think we've ever disagreed more.
I watched it from all sort of angles of how you put it, Dan. I've watched it from all the angles that have been available, and I cannot, to a point, see your argument, but fire away.
He's on his ass. He's on his hands and knees, right? What's he doing there to start with, right? That's a different thread altogether. But the striker taps him on the ass with his left hand, gives him a tap on the ass. He knows full well he's behind him. So what he tries to do is make himself a nuisance, trying to go, I'm going to get in the way, and ends up catching him. Did the striker make an absolute meal deal of it? Of course he did. And we're talking like one of the £4.50 expensive service station meal deals and all. Yeah, he did. But he did catch him, and he did know we were there. That was a penalty. And there was a bit of retribution for the one not 5-10 minutes prior. And, it's soft, don't get me wrong, but is it in contravention of the rules? Yes.
No, I cannot agree with you. I think he loses his balance trying to get up, whether he knows he's there or not. I don't think his natural, in that split second, his natural reaction or natural response is to go, I'm going to chuck myself all over the place because he don't even look at the guy. The guy comes from behind him, and he knows
he's there. He taps him on the ass. He knows he's there.
Listen, I could turn my back to you, and I'd know you're there. I don't know what you're doing or where you are.
Okay.
Do you know what I
Let me
mean?
give you another scenario, right? It's a
But
penalty
the ball's
shootout.
there, isn't it? So he's going to go towards the ball, isn't it?
Of course he is, right? So he gets in the way. He gets in the way of the ball. Let me give you another scenario, right? Not knowing that the striker's there is absolutely irrelevant. It's like David Seaman facing the Spanish in 1996 in the penalty shootout. One of their strikers bangs it in top corner and Seaman going, "I weren't ready." Who gives a shit? Do you know what I mean? Whether he knew we were there or not, did he get in his way? Did he impede him? Yes, he did.
Okay.
Don't agree. He slipped and the ball. I was going to say he slipped as the ball came in. He slipped. Stockdale parried it. The ball didn't go out of play. He's like, shit, that ball hasn't gone out of play. He's trying to scramble to get up. He's trying to scramble to get up. You see him looking at the ball. He's got no idea the striker's running up behind him, who then runs over him to get the ball. No idea.
He knows
no
exactly.
Idea.
He knows exactly the striker's there because he taps him on the ass. Watch it again. There's a literal tap on the ass.
That's a millionth of a second, Dan. And you know what? He would not have felt that.
Again, whether he knows he's there or not, absolutely irrelevant. Whether he knows he's there or not, it's like Dion Dublin sneaking up behind a goalkeeper and heading it out of his hands. Whether he knows he's there or not, it's irrelevant. Like, he got in his way and he impeded him. It's essentially a laying down body check.
Let me ask you a question then. If you're saying that contact is appropriate to give a penalty, how many penalties by rights would we see in a game for similar sort of contact, more or less, in 90 minutes of an average game of football? You'd see 7-8 penalties a week.
Yeah, you would, but what about her? He doesn't absolutely drive home this point at all, does it? It's just, well, you know, it's like arguing with your missus. Babe, you got really pissed last night and woke me up at 3 o'clock. Well, what about this thing you said 2 years ago? It don't make a fucking difference. You know, and how many times have blokes ever just risen to it and gone, well, you can't bring that up. When what they should be saying is going, that's a really interesting point, babe. But let's just the one in hand, and then we'll come back to the other one. Now, whether there's 7 or 8 in the other world, did he break the rules? Did he contravene the rules? Yes, he did. Did he know we were there? Yeah, he did. I believe he did. But whether he did or not is absolutely irrelevant, right?
So
I cannot agree with. I love you, mate, but I cannot agree with you.
So Ash, you said earlier on you were 50-50.
Yeah.
So go on.
Because that's the kind of guy I am, you know.
yeah. Splinters on your ass, you Ash.
Yeah, mate. Rice and chips, me.
That's the name of the show.
I've sat here a bit quiet because I just usually do when I've listened to obviously Dan's. I ain't no fucking judge language. Sorry.
Give me one more, Smash. Give me one more.
Go on.
Give me one more incident that only you'll know. Right, lads, listen. Have a listen to this. For some reason, me and Ash used to go to this youth club. I don't know if they're still a thing anymore. And it used to happen at the Methodist Church on a Friday night, right, in Dinnington. Now, for some reason, they got a group of us shit kickers from Dinnington. And we ended up getting really far in this tournament, right? It was mental. We were going to these national championships. We were playing teams from Wales and Scotland. And it was like a Methodist bloody religious thing. Like, it was insane. Now, in the finals, we played a team from Chapeltown. And Ash did the most beautiful body check I've ever seen anybody do. Now, Ash, do you remember that geezer tapped it past you? You've turned around, you stepped in front of him, stood still, and the geezer went smash straight off your shoulder and off your back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what happened, but he was laid down.
Well, he did run. He did run over the top of him, didn't he? And I don't know. I've seen the video. I've watched it a few times, and I've watched it more than a few times, and I don't think it were a penalty.
Oh, does that mean I'm out? Does that mean I'm outvoted on that one?
I think so.
I think
it is hard. It is really hard. No, because I did think it wasn't a penalty. It was a penalty. It wasn't a penalty. All that sort of thing. And I don't buy the fame for Maywo. Knew that what he was doing. I don't think he's that clever.
You know what?
I don't think he is.
Do you know? I just think he stuck his leg out. It got a deflection. It bounced off Stockdale's chest, didn't it? And he's obviously he's half down, he's half up. His he's just seen the ball then. I just think he's gone for the ball without any sort of thinking of
Spatial awareness.
Because it's a spill, isn't it? You just try and get there. So I don't think he's actually purposely knew. But the thing that what I'm going to say for it is that it shouldn't matter. One incident shouldn't have mattered. We should have been. And it all goes on to the thing. It's shit.
I dare you come in and bring your proper reasoning in and your pragmatism and all the rest of it. You know that
I
the
am not
entire
known
season
for that.
hinges on this one decision.
Yeah.
Well,
they all come round,
right,
don't they? They all come round, don't they? Evens themselves out. That's another cliche, isn't it? But I just do think that the decision for the penalty or non-decision, whatever was given, shouldn't have been reliant on that. We should be beating Oxford. Come on, even though we've been going through a shit run of results and the morale in the dressing room must be absolutely rock bottom. Not now, obviously, but we'll get onto that. Rock bottom after them results, the misfiring and the missed opportunity of the 2 games. Look, we were 5 points clear with 2 games in hand. That's the bit I'm more bothered about than a decision, a penalty, because that's not going to lose us, is it? That if we do or if we don't, that one decision for the penalties probably is not going to, is it? It's Forest Green, there's Cheltenham. Do you know what I mean? Lincoln,
Oxford, Cheltenham, Forest Green Rovers make up the bottom 4, don't they? Make up the bottom 4 of that league. So you should be beating them.
Yeah.
No, we should.
Tell you what, that last 10 minutes, I'm going to submit to TalkSport if Adrian Durham retires. Listen, let's move on. Right, so it's Friday. We've drawn 1-1. All the results didn't go our way. What did I miss?
We just didn't talk about Bannon's lovely goal.
Oh, shit. Right. Let's have a quick one on this one. Steve, did he mean it?
Yeah.
There was a huge discussion on TalkSport because Adrian Moose, Ian Abrahams.
Yeah.
Ian Abrahams, who every time someone dies or has a good game, just uploads a photo of it like it's got no, like this man's death has no validation until Moose has uploaded a picture of him, right? Yeah. So there was quite a discussion there on whether Bannon meant it, Simon. I mean, what do you reckon? I thought he absolutely went for it and he pinged it.
He meant it. He meant it. It was probably the only one of 2 things he did in the entire game, but yeah, he definitely meant it.
I will take no Barry Bannon slander on this programme.
He was poor, mate. He was very poor. He was very
was
poor.
Was he poor or unsupported? Or was he dropping deep like we've seen him be guilty of in the past?
I think he's actually gone from deep to anti-deep at the moment because some points he's running the line. He's up front. It's bizarre what's happening with Barry Bannon at the moment.
What do you reckon, Ash?
I have a thing of this.
Ash has a thing. Ash's thing.
I don't think he meant it. I thought it was a miss-hit cross. So that's that one. Yeah, but the other
you're on chips on that side. Yeah. Are we going back into rice now?
Yeah, but the thing on I agree with Simon. I don't think he contributed that much in the game. Obviously 10 seconds of a thing, but I don't think But if that's his fault or not, the style of play, how they're playing, I don't know. But for him being deep and then going up front, it's probably, we don't know what Darren Moore's instructions are to him, but it just seems a bit ill-disciplined. He wants to create, he wants to be part of it, but him sitting deep or going up top may not be what Darren Moore wants him to do. It might be where he should play. So it could be that he's trying to influence the game and not sticking to a game plan. But I don't know that. Of course I don't. I know fuck all. But with him not being in, but I just don't think he was at the races on Friday.
I wouldn't go as far as saying fuck all, Ash. I mean, you know how to body check Christian youths at a football tournament in 1996, don't you? Okay, so let's move on. Right then, so everything had gone our way. It was all done and dusted. Twitter had an absolute meltdown. The More Out Brigade came back from under their 6-month-old rock, blew the dust off it, and it all came back. Steve, I'm not going to ask you about that because I'm just going to trigger you again, aren't I? You know what I mean? We'll not pull at that thread. Then Monday happens. Back Accrington Stanley. Now, Joe Cran has blown the dust off his old jumper that he's been wearing for 6 months. I wonder if he's weshed it. Bless him. Right, so and we've gone right. We're back at home. We're back at Hillsborough. this should have been an easy route. Stevie, did you think it was?
With hindsight, yeah, I thought it was comfortable.
Did you have the confidence of that going in?
Absolutely
It
not.
wasn't. It wasn't an easy watch. It wasn't the
Absolutely
easiest of
not.
watches.
Absolutely not. Yeah, do you know what? It's. I'm very much of the mind, and as you know, people that listen regularly will know that I'm the optimist on the pod, and I'm the most positive out of the lot of us.
That's Ash.
Yeah.
See, this shoulder is Stevie, and that shoulder is Ash. Yeah, you know.
That's pretty much. But do you know, I was very much of the mind. I felt it on Friday that it was a game that we potentially would have won. I didn't feel a lack of confidence. I didn't feel a lack of confidence against Lincoln. I felt disappointment every game in the run because I'm very much of the mind that we can't keep not winning. I don't believe for a second that we were going to go the rest of the season without winning a game. And I think
even I'm not that negative, Stevie.
On reflection, Accrington have turned up and not put in a performance, and I think the stars aligned. And I'd like to think that from here on out, it's going to be a bounce point, and we can kick on from there. But the emotion, the overriding sort of feeling when you see that team at 2:00 wasn't one of trepidation or nerves or worry at what we put out there. It's just about whether or not the 11 lads that have been put on the pitch were going to turn up.
That's interesting you said that, Steve. Because as daft as it sounds, there are probably about 14 to 15 players that if they started in the 11, I wouldn't give two shits. I'd be like, well, of course, that's the team he's put out. Like, there are only a handful of players where you go, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like for example, Rio Shipston getting on the bench. Chuff for him. Really happy for him. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm glad he's done it. But it shows where we are in terms of injuries, right?
For me,
100%. Where in terms of the injuries, that team isn't the team that we put out. If Byers is fit, Windass, Pato's back, Smith, you can argue against those players that have been in that run that we've been missing, and we talk about the much lauded depth in our squad, and that's a conversation we could have an entire podcast on its own in terms of whether or not we've got strength in depth or we've just got a big squad, because it's not the quality that we thought we had at sort of Christmas time, is it? The last sort of month or so has shown that second string, if you like, whether or not they're quality players, they just simply haven't turned up. And at the end of the day, the proof of the pudding's in the eating, isn't it? And when you look at Deli Bashir,
sorry, is that the full part of that phrase? The proof is in the pudding is in the eating.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew what it meant, and I was like, the proof will be in the pudding. I just thought that the coup de grace of everything that happened would be the pudding itself, and I never got it because I'm a cheese board man.
Well, there we go.
What were you going to say?
On the point Stevie said was making there, I think 2:00 rolled round, and everyone does it. Come on, you're all that looks at the team, and you always go, "Oh shit! Fucking hell, no! I'm going home." That sort of thing. But to be honest, for me, whatever team was there, I know that the threadbare of the squad, the injuries, it was going to be one of whoever he put on there was going to be. Well, we haven't got that much. There was only the Dawson Stockdale was probably the only thing that was. Is he going to stick with Stockdale? Is Dawson going to come in? Obviously, he did. He made a change, didn't he? I think someone did say on socials that it's the third change that he's made. From the keepers, from swapping from Dawson, Stockdale, Dawson. So for me, I thought no arguments with the starting lineup. It was good to see. Obviously, Smith was on the bench, Patterson as well, which was good to see. Obviously, a couple of Patterson's been out a while, but Smith was a little niggle coming back on. Like I said, I went with a bit of positivity, but obviously with the last 5 results, it's always 6 results even. It was always a bit of trepidation, even though where Accrington are. Do you know what I mean? We've been playing Forest Green, we've played Oxford who were down there as well, and it's but kick off 3:00 came first 5 minutes, and you just personally I just thought, this is all right. We've started off all right at home. We always do, but it was great. I thought it was going to be an easy win, and it turned out to be an easy win, didn't it?
It kind of makes you wonder, like, what we were doing before. Like what? What we're playing at? You know what I mean? Like
That's football, though, isn't it, mate? Bloody hell!
listen,
yeah.
Football, isn't it? You know what I mean? Now,
actually-
Simon, come on. It's tell me about Dennis Adenner and tell me about your day. Tell me about what's gone on.
Right, okay. I don't think it was actually that sparkling a game, to be honest. I think at 1-0, we always looked like we needed another goal, like we have done over the last 4 or 5 games. I thought to myself that once that second goal went in, it was a case of that settled the nerves and allowed us to play a little bit more. But Accrington gave us, I think, a lot more room than any other team have given us.
Mhm.
The Adenner goals were great finish, great goals. You know, he was there, right place, right time, and he put them in the back of the net, which is what he should be doing. Did he play any better than what he's played before? Maybe a little bit.
The first goal was a great finish, I thought. I thought it was
yeah,
pretty. You know, we've been not in great form, having a bit of shit time. He's not a prolific goal scorer.
It was
But I
great
thought it was a great
because
finish.
it was a great finish. It was on target. All he has to do is he had plenty of time. There was nobody marking him. The ball came out to him. He hit it first time. You know, and it was on target. It bounced through a few players. Keeper was probably unsighted. It went in the back of the net. He should be scoring those sort of goals. He should be getting in those positions, of which, you know, you get in. Sorry to be sort of on the negative side here, but the reason why Rio Shipson's getting in the side is because there are other players who should be up to the task and aren't up to the task. And he's decided.
Name Simon. Don't sit on the fence. Don't get rice
Well,
and
you've
chips.
got Adenner in, you've got Backinson, you've got FTB. You know these players. You know, when we first started off and we accumulated this squad, and I'll put my hands up and say I completely agree with the way Darren Moore recruited in January. That's a big thing that's been on Twitter over the last 6 games. Is he should have bought more players. I mean, my mate Adi says it. He should have brought more players in. At that time, we didn't need more players, and I stood by Darren Moore stating, and I will do now, because there were players theoretically on paper who should have sat. You know, when Byers got injured, these players should have come in and they should have performed, and they haven't. So that's why Rio Shipson's getting a go, because he's obviously proven in the under-21s he can actually turn it on, and I thought he actually did all right when he came on.
He only came on for like 8 minutes, though, didn't he? It's not like
he did, but you know what?
I
think he did more and got more stuck in than FTB has done in previous games.
On top of that point, though, Simon, about you were talking about, you know, we've had Backinson, Adenner, and FDB try and come in and fill Byers' hole.
Hey.
Boom.
Ash,
Name
play
of
the
your-
music.
Name of your
Yeah. So you know, Byers' hole got filled by 3 different players, and do you reckon
that is
Adenner
not the net? Sorry, that's not the name of the podcast.
Hang on, has anybody got any Tipex? But like,
no wonder he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Lads,
FDB and Adenner and Backinson have all been in there. Listen,
we are 3 middle-aged blokes and Simon, and we're laughing at that.
You know what? You can piss off.
Just piss off. He's got it. Anyway, listen. Let's wrap this up. We've got, you know, Simon's got to go and get Mersion Eater on. Get it. So, Simon, do you think that with the rotation of players that we've had to fill Byers' space,
yes,
do you feel that Adenneran's got the biggest claim to that spot with his lovely teeth?
He's not actually playing him in his position, is he? He's actually looked.
No, he's not. He seems to be chucking him out right a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking at. He actually looks a better player when he plays him out on the wing. Are you
forgetting that sitter he missed against Cheltenham?
Yeah, exactly, and that is what he should be. You know, we're praising him for scoring 2 goals on Monday. That sitter against Cheltenham, where he just needs to pass it into the back of the net. That has made amends, those two goals probably, but he should be scoring those easily. You know, so I don't. You know, the 2 goals he scored were great. I thought the best goal was Liam Palmer's goal.
Watch your style, big split, fully chip, and when we reach past the brick, let me fling it.
So Liam Palmer's goal.
Watch your style, big split, fully chip, and when we reach past the brick, let me fling it.
Anyway, the player who plays number 2 for Sheffield Wednesday's goal was the best goal. and it was absolutely superb. And again, Steve will not shake his head. I thought Bannon had a poor game again, but the ball over the top to LP2 running through was superb, and the finish was I thought was great. It was really good.
I thought he made an absolute arseholes of it and was lucky to score it.
That's a worse shout than it was. That's a worse shout than it wasn't a penalty, by the way.
Yeah,
Listen.
Oh, here we go.
Listen to Dan Fudge.
All right, go on.
All right, so anybody else that ball's coming over to it, if it came over to it, the build-up was outstanding. It was sublime. Anybody else wouldn't have taken that long and that crap a touch to fold that away. I thought it was only because their defenders weren't alert enough, and that's why it went in. Go Stevie first.
Do you know what? If you watch the highlights back, and I remember it at the time, and the reason I think it stood out a little bit for me. Lee Gregory had a one-on-one in the first half, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody's played it left. It might have been Wilkes has played it out from left to right.
Yeah, it was Wilkes.
Gregory's taken his first touch and he's gone straight through the body of the goalkeeper. I don't think that it'd be unreasonable to say that you can't underestimate what a good finish for a player. And I'm being serious now. No Liam Palmer stuff.
Watch the style, big split, fully chipping. When we reach past the brick, remember fling it.
He is being serious. And
I am being serious. This is a kid who's playing right centre half or right wing back. Has played the left side of the back three. He's played through the middle. He's not a striker by any stretch of the imagination. So for him to have that time and the composure to, first of all, he's made the run. He's won the ball back. And it was piss poor on their part, by the way, but he's won the ball back on the halfway line. He's laid the ball off. He's then continued his run because he's seen it. And then Bannon's played the ball through. I just thought, joking aside, I just thought it was an absolute touch. It was absolute quality. He's then taken it. He could have gone straight to the goalkeeper. He could have put it wide. He's drilled it into the bottom corner. I just thought it was a good finish.
Do you know what? I'll give you that. I was trying to give you some Adrian Durham controversy there, but I tell you what, I forgot. You're right. Yeah, he plays predominantly fullback. He's took it, he's seen it, and he's put it away with a really composed finish, which was actually really cool. But come on, what a ball, right?
It actually caught up in his feet, didn't it? And then he hit it. So the ball was great. I think he laid the ball off, and was it Volks who passed it back to Bannon, who then chipped it over the top? It was a great piece of football. It was such a lovely.
Stevie don't know. He couldn't see from all the cloud that was in front of him. There was fruit everywhere.
I honestly, the ball. As soon as the ball's gone through, I've turned to my little one and I've gone, "We're in here." I preempted it by 3 seconds.
I'll tell you what.
Before he'd even shot, I was on my feet.
It's 9:15 now. Is Molly in bed yet?
She's in the back room. 2:30.
Okay, so while Simon and Stevie talk, while Simon and Ash talk, you can grab her, and I want a blow-by-blow account from your daughter about how she felt about the Liam Palmer goal. Sorry, Ash. Liam Palmer goal.
Watch the style, big split, fully chipping. When we reach past the brick, remember fling it.
Right. While he's doing that, can I just one thing? Can I just say we always do this? We always skip on, don't we? We miss a few bits and pieces. I just want to actually single out Malik Wilkes in the first half because I thought he did really well. Yeah. And the centre half got booked and then he got hooked. The guy who he was on, because he ran him ragged. He was all over. He turned him everything. He for the what was it? 6
in the end. Yeah, in the end, or else he was going to get sent off, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and I thought the way that he worked him and the work rate that I thought he did really well, Wilkes. And I just think he just needs a goal, and I think he'll be well back to yeah. Sorry,
because I mean, bear in mind, Stevie was saying that Malik Wilkes weren't the player we thought he was, and there was a couple of players that we've signed where they took a while to get settled in, and I think Wilkes is one of them where we're not that far away from him for being the complete player that we thought we got, right, Ash?
Yeah, I think because I didn't know a lot about Malik Wilkes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those, what I said, but obviously we chased him for a fair few weeks. And what you were hearing was
he was the saviour, wasn't he?
He's got a bit of pace. He can finish. Obviously, he's got a good goal scoring record. But there was one Oxford I know we're going back, but 2 minutes after half time, he had a 1-on-1 and he turned back. He didn't seem to have the confidence or the pace, just to put his foot down. And I think I saw that on Monday as well a couple of times where the pace he's just not got the match sharpness or match fitness or anything like that, which is a shame at the minute because we haven't got anyone like that, have we? With we've got Johnson. Sorry, Stevie. We've got Johnson who's got a touch of pace, but no one up front. Obviously, we've got Gregory and Smith who are the same sort of player. So yeah, I just wanted to say that for Malik Wilkes in first half because I thought actually it was pretty good.
I agree entirely with you.
I just on the back of that Wilkes chat, I wonder if he's better served at the moment coming off the right hand side rather than playing up top. I think he's more effective out there. Obviously,
it did drop right, didn't he, a lot?
Yeah, naturally. When since he's come back into the team, was it Lincoln? He came on and had about 20 minutes, didn't he? And he's ended up going out on the sort of the right hand side and then turning, and he was the threat as we were very desperately looking to try and get a winner. I think Moore is managing him as best he can given the circumstances. There's a lot of chat about whether or not he's doing the right thing, making the right tactical choices, the right decision in terms of team selection, and so forth in terms of Moore. But I don't think you can doubt that he's trying to manage the squad as best as he possibly can at the minute. And I think that's one of the reasons that Wilkes was dragged at half time. I know there was talk about him getting a knock. He's managing him because we've got 5 games left. And I'll tell you something, for everything that I've said, I'll be more than happy to eat my words if Wilkes ends up being the player that we thought he was going to be when we ended up signing him, because I've not seen that. But for the last 2-3 games, circumstances being what they are, he's been a plan B, hasn't he? He's been an option, and I think that's absolutely brilliant.
I think he's going to just run out of games, Wilkes. Do you know what I mean? Getting into games now, we've only got, 6 games, 5 games left.
He's going to hit his stride, and then the season's going to finish.
No, I do, because that's what I'm seeing. We see you've watched a few players, been out for a while, coming back. He's had, like you say, came on, he's had 2 starts. And it's like, he does seem to get into a bit of a stride, and I think he's just going to run out, or he's going to be primed for playoffs.
I also think
we're not going to get in the playoffs.
I do think that, and I'm leaping forward a little bit here. I think the team selection on Saturday is probably going to be Wilkes out wide right and Adeniran in the middle, because I'm not sure James will be ready. And I think that's going to be a start for Pato and Gregory up top.
Well, we can chat that up in Hello from the other side. Simon, you wanted to add something before I move to Molly, who's got her speech absolutely ready.
I've got to concur with what Ash said there, and I think that not shooting led to the Gregory one-on-one with the keeper, because actually Wilkes had a chance at shooting, and then he squared it to Gregory, and that's when Gregory kicked it straight at the keeper. I think they both had a chance of beating the keeper there. But it's that little injection of pace and also this sort of trickery that has sort of lit up the last couple of games, and apparently he got taken off for cramps on Monday, so hopefully he's all right for Saturday with any luck at Burton.
Okay, thank you for that, Simon. Thank you, chaps. All right then, Molly, this is your big moment here, darling. Are you all right? Can I have a quick mic check?
Say hello.
No. Okay, oh. There's going to be some people driving now. My apologies for everybody who's driving, listening to this.
Dan, you should know this, being in your industry. Never work with animals and children.
Yeah, I'm about to say exactly the same.
And I feel like Molly's in. I feel like Molly's both. So listen, right, Molly, what I want you to do, I want you to tell me how you felt. I want you to describe it the best you can, and I'm talking about your dad and yours favourite player. I'm not saying it. Favourite player scoring his goal on Bank Holiday Monday.
I was shocked. Just over the moon.
Oh, that was a big sassy arm.
Yes. I was shocked.
How did you feel when the ball was played through? What did you think?
I don't actually know, to be honest.
He's going to miss it.
Yeah. Did you think it was a good finish?
Yes, yeah. I think it was pretty good. Yeah.
And what did you do when we scored?
I think we already heard that. Not 30 seconds ago.
Well, I didn't even have any words. I didn't know what to do.
So you know, next time you go to Hillsborough, Molly, and you go to the shop and you think, "Oh, I've been a good girl. I want a shirt." What name are you going to have on the back of that shirt?
Well, basically, I want do you know the name bit, like MS, and then the number 2, MS2.
Why MS2? Because it's like, tell me.
Because when I play football, I'm number 2.
And why are you number 2?
Why did you pick number 2?
I didn't actually pick. I gave it in.
Jesus.
Well,
Just say the name, Molly, for God's sake. Who scored the goal that you're talking about?
Liam Palmer!
Watch the style, big split, fully chip, you know we rich, pass the brick, let me fling it.
Oh, God. Painful. Absolutely bloody painful. I tell you what.
You should.
I'll tell you what. This should be award nominated. This shouldn't it?
Thank you, Molly.
You don't. I'm telling you, seriously. Some of it's just we're just all over. We're like Saturday night entertainment. That's it. We're one of those variety shows.
That's what we are. It's like Noel's house party in here with the amount of people walking through Stevie's door. Right then, listen, Ash. Next one, Stockdale, Dawson. Any preference?
Dawson for me. Sorry, I know. It's just purely on what's happened, and I think everyone can agree. I think that they've both got probably a bit of a mistake in them. Probably a lot of people are probably either or 50-50, rice and chips. Don't really know, not really that bothered. But for me, Dawson shades it for me.
Steve?
History is going to say that Dawson, it's right to put Dawson in. I think Stockdale's been unnecessarily maligned. I think a lot of the faults and the blame that people have thrown his way, I think, is unnecessary and unwarranted. I don't blame Stockdale for the dropping of the ball on Friday before the penalty. I thought that was a ridiculous call for anyone to say that was his fault because he didn't catch it.
What about the Lincoln goal? Lincoln
goal I thought was soft. I think out of the goals that he's conceded, that's probably the one. The Cheltenham with the conditions again. We're talking professional football, and it's people sitting behind keyboards on the phones. We do respect to people that have got those opinions, and everybody's entitled to them. I defy anyone to do what he does, and I know people will turn around. Dan's going to be a main one that will say it and say it's his job, and that's what he's paid money to do, and so on and so forth. But it was a difficult one, that one. I think if we end up, and I know the argument, and it's going to be sort of contradicting myself, but if we end up going up by a point, we can point to the fact that he's tipped that one over the bar, can't we, after the penalty, when everybody's against him.
No, it was straight at him. It was a camera save, weren't it? He should have saved it. It were a camera save. It was.
I'm not biting. I am not biting. 3 yards out to react. No.
I just realised that 80% of the show is just us bullying Stevie to get a rise out of him. It's like our RE lessons that do it.
I'm not having it after the other week. There's no way I'm biting there. I'm not having it.
No. It's a serious. No, I haven't seen the replay. I've not watched the highlight, but from first instinct, it's a save that any keeper should make. So
any keeper.
Any keeper.
Not like 5 foot. Bloody...
Name a keeper.
Oh, bloody hell, I don't know. That crop that Windass should have got sent off for, what's his name? Cooper.
So, Simon, Stockdale or Dawson? Because I need to have a minute, because as I was just gesturing around there, I hit myself in the knackers. So can you take us out of this segment, please?
Good job they shaved, aren't they, Dan?
Probably a bit of... God,
go on, then. He's well-groomed knackers.
I thought you forgot. Actually, to be honest, I thought you'd forgotten I was here. It's got to be Dawson, but to be honest, Stockdale couldn't have done anything against the one at Cheltenham. And to be honest, Dan, you were there. The amount of saves he pulled off in that first half against Cheltenham was superb. Out of the three, I think the Lincoln one he could have done better with. My thing for Stockdale is that he takes too many chances playing it around at the back. And I think Dawson is a little bit more direct, and he's.
But is that a Stockdale problem, or is that the players that Stockdale's got around him?
No, I think that's a Stockdale problem. Like, he's done it.
Oh,
He did
right.
it. He said it at the start of the season. Dawson doesn't do the same, so he's got the same players in front of him. I think Dawson's just more assured on the ball when we're playing the ball back, and he seems to be quicker at playing it out from the back. But again, Stockdale made a couple of good saves on Friday. I don't think he could have saved the penalty. That was proper. It hit hard. I don't think he could have saved the penalty. Probably could have done better with saving the ball that led to the penalty. But it's put some maybes in it. I think Dawson. It was unlucky that Dawson got dropped in the first place, and I still don't understand that.
Well, from the Barnsley game, weren't it?
Yeah, and why? Why should he have got? All right. He made one mistake at the first goal, didn't they? But at the end of the day, the rest of the team was shit as well. It's not just down to the keeper.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, the keeper's the one always under the spotlight, isn't he? Because he's the guy who is the last form of defence. But if the 3-4 in front of him is shit as well, he's got no chance, hasn't he?
Fair enough. All right, then. So, Ash, I believe you're in charge of the quiz this evening. We've got 5 minutes left. How quick are we all going to get out on this one? I'm going to give Simon probably 2 before he's out. I'm taking wagers now.
So, bearing in mind, I don't know if we've had this before or not, so bear with. So, I would like you guys, are you listening, to name every shirt sponsor. Have we had this one?
We have had this one.
Have we? Ah, rubbish.
Well, I'll do it again. But I remembered the really important one.
Oh, well, that's rubbish, isn't it? Well, that's it, guys and girls. Then
I thought you had another one ready. I thought you did another one.
No, I ain't got it. Go on then. I've got another one here. Are you ready?
Go on.
Oh no, we've had that one as well. I've got loads here. Look.
What was your first game, Ash? Who played in your first game?
I can't remember last week. Never mind, bloody. We've done We've done them all.
I've got one.
Oh, yeah. Go on then, Stevie.
I've got one. What are you laughing at?
Ash, have we done that one? Yeah, we have. Oh, God, I've got this one. We've done that one as well. Steve's got one.
The 1991 League Cup team.
We've done that.
We've done that one.
Yeah,
we've done that one.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Now, sod it then. He's got one.
Yeah, should we do it? I've got
Go on, then.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've had 15 managers since the Premier League era.
Done that one.
No? You don't know what I'm going to say.
Go on. Points per game or something. Go on.
Win percentages.
Oh, God.
Win percentages.
The top 15.
And I want to do it. Bear in mind, totally improvised. It'll be a 2-parter. Ooh. So I can either number them and give you the manager and then tick them off as we go, and we'll go play your cards, right? Higher or lower.
Oh, that's good. Let's do that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay. Yeah. So in no particular order.
So I can go 50-50.
Give me 20 seconds.
Oh, hang on. Stevie, will this be all right?
Ash, this is mint. This is. I didn't even know this could do this. Look at this. Look at us. Ash, put the Liam Palm video in quick.
Watch a style big split fully chip. You know we rich past the brick. Let me fling it.
Tell him, mate. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Stephen Bartlett. I mean, he's got millions. He needs to learn off us. I'm telling you. Diary of a CEO. But go on. Right, was that enough time? Sorry, everyone. Messing about on this podcast.
Give me a number between 1 and 15. That's your starting point. Okay. I've randomly numbered them. Okay. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Just totally random. We'll go higher or lower as percentage. Yeah. I know what I'm talking about as we go. Ready?
All right.
Randomly, number 1 is Dave Jones. Now, Dave Jones had a win percentage of 36%.
Right.
Okay.
So who's first?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go, as I've got it in on my screen, I've got Ash, Dan, and Simon. Okay. Number 2 is Alan Irvine. Ash, higher or lower than 36%?
Lower.
It was higher. Alan Irvine was 41%.
What?
41%. 59 games, 24 wins, 22 losses for a 41% win percentage.
Ooh.
Dan, number 3, Chris Turner, higher or lower than 41%?
It's got to be lower than 41%. It's got to be lower.
Correct. It was lower at 30%.
Ooh.
96 games, 29 wins, 36 losses. Si, Paul Jewell, number 4. Higher or lower than 30?
Surely he's out of your memory.
Yeah, think back to when you were 30, Si.
It was a pretty shit time, Premiership. I would say lower.
He was higher.
With
He had a 32% win percentage.
2, so it's 2% higher.
32. In his one, I can't remember, but 38 games, 12 wins, 21 losses for a 32%.
Oh God, that was a horrible time.
So it means that if we're playing higher or lower, mercifully for
but for everyone concerned, all the 10s listening,
I've chucked it in. It was.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Who's the last one?
We'll do Steve Bruce. Higher or lower than 32?
Steve Bruce, higher than 33 has to be.
Yeah, 39. Come on, Dan.
Go on.
Tony Pulis.
Lower.
Didn't he
Couldn't
get
I have had
like,
that one?
He didn't
didn't
even
he
win
get
the game,
something
did
like
he?
9 or 10%? Like, I want to say 10%.
It was 10%. He won one game.
10%.
1 in 10.
Number 7.
Even I could
Higher or lower than 10? Stuart Gray.
Stuart Gray got it higher than 10.
36. Number 8, Carlos. Higher or lower than 36?
Higher.
43. Number 9 is Gary Monk. Higher or lower than 43?
Lower.
It is lower. It's 31. Number 10, Gary Megson. Higher or lower than 31?
Mega higher.
Higher.
It is higher. 44. Number 11 is Paul Sturrock. Higher or lower than 44?
Lower.
It is
Higher.
lower. It's
Hang on.
44. Number 12, just randomly numbered. I'm going to give you this one because it's the same. Brian Laws. You got 34 as well. So the number's 34. We're on number 13. Terry Yorath.
Lower.
Definitely lower.
29. Number 14. The last one. We had Terry Yorath at 29. Number 14. The last one, not including Darren Moore. Yoss.
Lower.
Then what? What was the
29%.
last one? No, it's got to be higher. It's got to be higher because you're staying in the league.
Lower.
It's higher. It's higher. It was 33.
Is that a win for Dan Fudge, Sheffield Wednesday knowledge extraordinaire?
It sounds like
you can claim victory. You can claim victory tonight.
Well, it was a win for Dan Fudge. Not sure about the other bit.
Right. Okay. Listen, that's an hour. Let's do some predictions, shall we? Thank you, Steve. That got us out of an 8-minute hole there. Appreciate it. That was a 30-second countdown in there as well. Ash, Liam Palmer.
Pardon? Sorry, what was that?
I said Liam Palmer.
Watch the style, big split, fully chip, and we rich past the brick. Remember fling.
Do you remember when you used to just take advert breaks on this show? Right then, Simon, I'm going to come to you first. We've got Burton and Bristol Rovers coming up. I mean, what do you reckon? Like,
Well, Burton have been a proverbial banana skin for a lot of the top teams, but I'll go for a win. I'm not predicting scores. It's a load of bollocks, that.
It's kind of the game that we've done for 14 years. But
yeah, I know, and I'm falling out with it now. After the 8-0 predictions by some of you for Forest Green Rovers, that went well, didn't it?
I did say, if anyone listens back, Dan still owes me a fiver because the bet was £5 under 2.5, and he went over 2.5, and I got the right to under 2.5. So, yeah.
So you're just going for W on both?
I'm going for no. W and D. D at Bristol.
Ooh.
WD40 for Simon there.
Yeah.
He's 40.
Ash, how drunk are you going to get at Burton?
Drink sponsor.
You and Simon got mega fucked up.
Yeah. So
strangely enough, we're going again.
I'm shook. I'm shook to my very core.
It's funny that, isn't it? Yeah, I will probably be quite. Yeah, I maybe have a few sherbets. Yes.
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I'm going to go for a win. I think it's going to be. I'm going to go quite an easy 2-0. I know that might be a thing, but easy 2-0. I don't think we're going to get troubled at all. I think we're unbeaten at the Pirelli, aren't we, in League One? If I'm
according to that last show that I was just on about an hour ago.
Yes, yeah. In League One, that is, not in the Championship.
Is that one game? Is it one game?
One game. At one game we've played.
Mate,
can't argue with stats, Steve. Can't argue with stats.
Stevie, you just spent 8 minutes doing a quiz on stats. So one's good. It's good. And then Bristol Rovers. I'm going to go for another win, but only a slight 1-0 away from home. Obviously, we've been playing shit away from home, really. So I think we're going to grind out 1-0. Hopefully, a couple of people will be. Pat will have more game time. Smith will have a few minutes. So slowly and surely, people creeping back from sort of fitness. So I'm going to go positive. And I want to say 2 wins because, like we've said, they're all must-win games now. 3 points, aren't they? So,
Steve.
Can you hear him?
No. Has he pulled his microphone out?
I muted myself, Steve. Ashes.
So professional.
That's what chucking at him.
Steve, Ash, play the Liam Palmer video quick.
Watch the style, big split, fully chip, and when we reach past the brick, let me fling it.
Steve.
How many of those have you had?
I've had 4 and I've got quite drunk. Steve, Ash has gone positive and I don't know what to do. So can you say something controversial, please? Because I don't like change.
2-0, happy, comfortable.
So is that 2-0 Burton?
2-0 Burton, 1-1 Bristol. Twitter in full on meltdown because we haven't got 3 points on Tuesday night.
I've just
Here's
looked,
one.
and it's 3 hours drive. Why have I bought tickets for this game? It's 3 hours drive. It's 2 hours 54. Why did I buy tickets on a Tuesday night to go watch this?
It's just what we do.
I'm not. Obviously, I love Twitter. Twitter's my friend. I think it's the best entertainment since Emmerdale Farm.
Mine is Emmerdale Farm. It's just no one is going, bloody hell.
Is it not called Emmerdale now?
Yeah, this is going way back, Simon. You should know.
Oh, is Mr. Wilkes still in it?
No, he's long gone in.
Is he?
Amos has gone as well.
No, I'm not watching it anymore if they're not in it.
Right.
Sorry.
See what happens when I have a beer.
No,
it just falls to shit, lads.
But Stevie's saying about the 1-1 and then Twitter meltdown, and I don't get why people do it. I do get why people do it. They have the right to, isn't it? It's a thing, but sometimes people do have a perceived meltdown, but then other people have opinions, don't they? And they put across what they believe, and that's what we do on this podcast, and that's what obviously the tens of people listen to on a weekly basis. So I don't think there should be ever sort of a meltdown, but there's going to be disgruntled people, of course. We're 5 games away now, aren't we, from hopefully getting back, and any sort of drop points, people are going to think it's going to be warranted, and they're going to aim their vitriol at certain players and the manager, and no doubt the owner. So for me, a bit of a public service announcement. It's like, please don't. I mean, I always joke I'm a negative guy and everything, but for not one reason or one time have I ever, and please think of it, I have atted a player or DM'd a player or a person who works at the club or anything to probably put over my viewpoints of how shit they've had a day at work, because that's what it is. And I know people say about it's football, but it's a job for them. They go to work, they entertain us, and no reason should anybody go to work and get absolute pelters. Yes, we know I know we should be well ahead of this league. I was hoping Shrewsbury Derby was going to be dead rubbers and all this, but it's looking like it's not. So I think all the players really, doesn't matter who they are. I know we on this podcast we've berated some midfielders for not stepping up and things like that, but I don't think any of us would do that. So all I'm saying is that come on, it's just don't do it. If for these two games coming up and if something happens or we don't get the result that we want, need, deserve, then I think just step away from the keyboard and go and have a drink and hug your partner.
I'll drive up and give you a hug, Ash. Listen, very well said, young man, and I appreciate it. And that's coming from Ash, who definitely has gone to one of my jobs and slagged me off at work. But listen, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I don't do any work.
Sorry, what? Any other business? Sorry, just a quick one, lads. I don't know if you've seen the shortlist of the Player of the Year and Manager of the Years have gone out yesterday. I believe it was one time we recorded. Quick thoughts, anyone?
Well, Darren Moore would be an absolute charlatan getting in there, if I'm honest. Steve's going to disagree with me. Simon, what do you think?
If we go up and if we win it, then Darren Moore deserves it 100%. I'm not sure that Bannon should be Player of the Season.
He's not going to, for me. He's not going to get He's not going to get Sheffield Wednesday Player of the Year. For me, sorry. I know we've jumped.
No,
Simon.
No, it's not. I think the guy who's had his hand firmly on it, although keeps trying to hand it back, is obviously Liam Palmer.
Watch the style, big split, fully chipping on we rich past the brick.
Did you two rehearse that?
No, not at all. I do think it's Liam Palmer's, unless he just wants to give it to one of the other players. And he's redeemed himself over the last couple of poor games. But then again, every other one.
The award isn't for most improved, like you give to the little gimpy kid at school.
How can you say?
Daniel!
Liam Palmer does not deserve Player of the Season this season.
I think he's done really well. He can get the little gimpy kid most improved award. Of course he can, but bloody hell, Barry Bannon's absolutely got the league on strings.
He hasn't, though, if you look at stats, has he?
He's been at the top of all the stats, Stevie. Come
on. Listen, I've disagreed with you on most things tonight, Dan, but I don't get this negativity towards Bannon, and it's not negativity, but
I'm saying who's my Player of the Season is. It's not.
Do you think that Barry deserves it over Liam Palmer? And to put your Liam Palmer affliction aside,
Ash, that was three. You're missing him here now.
Do you actually think that Bannon deserves it more than Liam this season?
No, I don't. But Bannon's not been. Liam Palmer's not been nominated, has he?
No.
But that speaks to the.
That's another argument, isn't it? Not a discussion.
It speaks to the process, doesn't it? The process is they've gone, right, who's the best player at this club, best player at that club, best player at that club. I had no idea that they were talking about the fella at Bristol Rovers. Forgive me, I don't know, I can't remember his name. I was surprised not to see Connor Chaplin in there.
Chaplin was
but this is it. We're a Wednesday podcast. We're Wednesdayites, and we go, right, who are the best players in the league? Well, if you look at Ipswich, every time you read about Ipswich, Connor Chaplin's doing really well.
Yeah.
It was that Broadhead from January.
Yeah, say again, sorry.
Is it Broadhead when they bought in January? From January onwards, he's been...
He's been the one consistently that I look at and think, well, every time I see bits, it's him. Johnson, Clark Harris, I've said all season, is the best striker in the league for me. I think he's been, although he was poor against us, you look at his record, you look at the things he's been doing, the bits that you see, he's got an argument for the conversation based on the goals that he scored. As I said, forgive me, and it's no slight, no disrespect to the Bristol Rovers fella. he could be sat next to me now. I wouldn't know who he is. But this is the thing. Everybody goes, right, it's not Barry Bannon, it's League One Barry Bannon, isn't it? Because everybody goes, we know him. He used to play at Premiership. He's Sheffield Wednesday's best player. They went on a 5-month unbeaten run. So every time we talk about him or we talk about our club, everybody goes to Barry Bannon. But we do it. And I think that's one of the reasons that we go back to the point where we're, he's very much maligned because our expectations are so high of him. Liam Palmer will get our player of the year. I absolutely believe that, because Liam Palmer's not been, up until the last 3-4 games, has not been anything less than a 7 out of 10 every week. But Barry Bannon gets a 7, and it's an absolute travesty, isn't it? Because he has to be, by his high standards, 9 or 10. And if he drops below a 9 or 10,
I'd be
he's going to
happy
get
if
it.
he got a 7 at the moment, to be honest, mate, 'cause I don't think he's been near that.
Well, I don't put much stock in stats, to be honest with you. I go on what I've seen. I go on his endeavour. I go on the bits. There's been a couple of times where there was one on Saturday. He literally had me out my seat. He's just got one. He's looked up. The ball's come. He's got 2-3 players around him, and first time he's pinged one with the outside of his left foot, and it's gone 40 yards across the pitch to Johnson, I think it was, on the far side, and it was absolutely audacious. And that's the stuff that you get from the man, because that's what he does. But that's my opinion. You guys have got yours. I've got mine. It is what it is.
On the manager thing, whoever wins the league will win it.
Yeah,
that's from that's.
Thanks, Ash.
No.
No,
It will be there, won't it?
He deserves to be nominated because end of the day we're in the top. We're atop of the league, aren't we?
We're in the top 3, so I would assume that the 3 managers who will get nominated the current are the top 3, because they're the 3 that have performed in the last 30.
No, but I think the manager one. I think the manager one is relative. Like the best player, I think the stats say it all. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I feel like the manager one, like if Ferguson had been at Forest Green Rovers all season and somehow kept him up, I think that is a more superhuman effort than getting Sheffield Wednesday out of League One based on the grounding that they did last year. That's my opinion. But listen, guys, I could talk about this all night, but we've gone on for an hour and 15 minutes, and I am absolutely busting for a week because I've drank too much of Vibrant Forest Pooper beer. So listen, thanks a lot for joining us, Stevie, Simon, Ash. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've got a load of editing to do tonight to get out my slurry swearing. So thanks a lot for joining us. See you later.
The Wednesday week is sponsored by Michael Constantine Wealth Management. We bet you can't find a financial advisor closer to Hillsborough Stadium.
Blair, I've put you on specially. I brought you onto the side to talk about men's grooming, downstairs grooming.
Well, as you know, I'm the biggest men's grooming guy in the biz today, Fudge.
Well, of course you are. Of course you are. And I know that you're a big gym guy. I know you're a big runner. And have you ever been out and about and all of a sudden you've got what can be described as a small fire down there?
It's as red as a fire engine down there sometimes, Fudge.
Well, I tell you what, that's a good point, because right now, the Wednesday week for the next few weeks is going to be brought to you by Manscaped. And we're giving away, we're giving away discounts on the Manscaped 4.0 bundle.
What's it include?
I've got, it's the performance package, mate. You've got the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, a Crop Reviver toner, so, it brings it back if you need it. Performance boxer briefs if performing is an issue for you, mate.
I'm fully seeded, but
fully seeded. I enjoy that. Yeah. So and then we've got all the bits that'll keep it off the bathroom floor. We've got it's waterproof. It cuts down the issue that you might get. It helps reduce the likelihood of getting an ingrowing hair as well.
Perfect. And that's
from
a Gillette fan.
In it. So I thought you'd be a fan. So listen, you guys back home, you guys watching and listening right now, you can get a discount on this if you enter the code TWW20 into the checkout at the end, and you can get yourself a 20% discount. That's the Manscaped 4.0 bundle. Get on it. The Wednesday week is also brought to you by Michael Constantine Wealth Management. I bet you can't find a financial advisor closer to Hillsborough Stadium.
The Wednesday week is sponsored by Michael Constantine Wealth Management. We bet you can't find a financial advisor closer to Hillsborough Stadium.